What's good, y'all? It's Evan from DMV Sports Zone giving you another update on all things DMV sports. As always, we start with hockey and the Washington Capitals. So if it seems like it's been a while since the Caps last played, that's because it has been. Their last game was Tuesday, a 4-3 overtime win in Columbus, thanks to a game winner by Evgeny Kuznetsov. The win improves the Caps to 27-20-6, 60 points, fourth in the Metropolitan Division. If the season ended today, they play Carolina in the first round. Here's the week ahead for Washington. For the Capitals, the week doesn't begin until Saturday when they head to Boston to take on the Bruins. The Bruins are currently 39-7-5, 83 points. They're first in the Atlantic Division and the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So if the season ended today, they would play Pittsburgh in the first round. Boston's coming off a 5-2 win in Toronto on Wednesday in a game which they never trailed. This is the second of 3 between the Caps and the Bees. Boston leads the season series 1-0 after beating Washington 5-2 in D.C. way back on opening night, October 12th. And for the Capitals, the week concludes on Super Bowl Sunday when they return home to host the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks are currently 15-25-11. That's good for 41 points and 7th in the Pacific Division ahead of only Anaheim. San Jose's coming off a 6-4 win in Pittsburgh way back on January 28th. They've actually gotten a point in 3 straight. This is the first of 2 between the Caps and the Sharks. Last season, Washington and San Jose split a pair, with the road team winning both. And now we move to basketball and the Washington Wizards. So the good news for the Wizards is they did have a 20-point lead in back-to-back games. The bad news is they blew a 20-point lead in back-to-back games, most recently a 125-123 loss in Brooklyn on Saturday. The loss drops the Wiz to 24-28. They've lost 2 in a row, as stated earlier. They're the 10 seed in the East, so if the season ended today, they would play Chicago in the play-in tournament. Here's the week ahead for Washington. For the Wizards, the week begins tonight when they return home to host the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers come in at 33-22, the 5 seed in the East, so if the season ended today, they would play Brooklyn in the first round. Cleveland's coming off a 122-103 win in Indiana on Sunday. They've won 2 in a row and they're undefeated in the month of February. This is the second of 3 between the Wiz and the Cavs. Cleveland leads the season series 1-0 after beating Washington 117-107 in overtime in Cleveland way back on October 23rd. On Wednesday, the Wizards welcome in the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets are currently 15-40, 14th in the East ahead of only Detroit, so if the season ended today, they would miss the playoffs. Charlotte's coming off a 119-113 loss against the Magic on Sunday. They've lost 4 in a row, and they're winless in the month of February. This is the last of 4 between the Wiz and the Hornets. Washington leads the season series 2-1. The first meeting, November 7th, Washington beat Charlotte 108-100 in Charlotte. Wizards beat the Hornets again 106-102 in D.C. on November 20th, and Charlotte got on the board in this series with a 117-116 win over Washington in Charlotte on December 2nd. And for the Wizards, the week concludes on Saturday when they welcome in the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are currently 25-30, 11th in the East. If the season ended today, they'd miss the playoffs. Indiana's coming off a 122-103 loss against the Cavaliers on Sunday, despite 27 points by Miles Turner. This is the last of 4 between the Wiz and the Pacers. Indiana leads the season series 2-1. Washington got them for a 114-107 win in Indianapolis way back on opening night, October 19th. Indiana returned the favor with a 127-117 win in D.C. on October 28th. And the last time these two met, December 9th, a 121-111 win for the Pacers in Indianapolis. And now we transition to college basketball and the 8th-ranked Virginia Cavaliers. So, unfortunately, all good things must come to an end, and for Virginia, that includes their 7-game win streak, which went by the wayside with a 74-68 loss at Virginia Tech on Saturday, despite 20 points by Jaden Gardner. The loss drops the Cavaliers to 17-4, 9-3 in the ACC, and they sit at 3rd place in the conference standings. As of the latest bracketology, Virginia is a 3 seed. So here's the week ahead for the Wahoos. For Virginia, the week begins on Tuesday when they return home to host the 22nd-ranked NC State Wolfpack. NC State comes in at 19-5, 9-4 in the ACC, 4th place in the conference standings, and as of the latest bracketology, NC State is an 8 seed. The Wolfpack are coming off a 72-64 win over Georgia Tech on Saturday. They've won 4 in a row. They're undefeated in the month of February. This is the only meeting this season between Virginia and NC State. And for Virginia, the week concludes on Saturday when they welcome in the Duke Blue Devils. Duke is currently 17-6, 8-4 in the ACC, 6th place in the conference standings, and as of the latest bracketology, Duke is a 6th seed. The Blue Devils are coming off a 63-57 win over North Carolina on Saturday. They've won 3 in a row, and they're also undefeated in the month of February. This is the only meeting this season between Virginia and Duke. Up next, let's talk about the Maryland Terrapins. So Maryland went out on Saturday and made history with an 81-46 win at Minnesota, which ties their largest win in a conference game since joining the Big Ten in 2014. The win also improves the Terrapins to 16-7, 7-5 in the Big Ten. They've won 4 in a row and sit in 4th place in the conference standings. And as of the latest bracketology, Maryland is an 8 seed. So here's the week ahead for the Terps. For Maryland, the week begins on Tuesday when they head to East Lansing to take on the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan State comes in at 14-9, 6-6 in the Big Ten, 9th place in the conference standings. As of the latest bracketology, Michigan State is an 8 seed. The Spartans are coming off a 61-55 loss at Rutgers on Saturday. They've lost 2 in a row. They're winless in the month of February. This is the only meeting this season between Maryland and Michigan State. And for Maryland, the week concludes on Saturday when they return home to host the Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State is currently 14-9, 5-7 in the Big Ten, 11th place in the conference standings. As of the latest bracketology, Penn State is in the next 4 out. The Nittany Lions are coming off a 72-63 loss at Nebraska on Sunday. They've lost 2 in a row. They're also winless in the month of February. This is the first of 2 between Maryland and Penn State. Up next, let's talk about the Virginia Tech Hokies. So Virginia Tech needed a statement win, and goodness gracious, they got it. A 74-68 win over number 6 Virginia on Saturday, thanks to 22 points by Sean Padula. The win improves the Hokies to 14-9, 4-8 in the ACC, 12th place in the conference standings. As of the latest bracketology, Virginia Tech is not in the field. So here's the week ahead for Tech. For Virginia Tech, the week begins on Wednesday when they host the Boston College Eagles. Boston College comes in at 11-13, 5-8 in the ACC, 11th place in the conference standings. As of the latest bracketology, Boston College is not in the field. The Eagles are coming off a 77-68 loss against Syracuse on Saturday, despite 18 points by Quentin Post. This is the last of 2 between Virginia Tech and Boston College. The Eagles lead the season series 1-0 after beating the Hokies 70-65 in overtime in Chestnut Hill on December 21st. And for Virginia Tech, the week concludes on Saturday when they head to South Bend to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame is currently 10-13, 2-10 in the ACC, 13th place in the conference standings. As of the latest bracketology, Notre Dame is not in the field. The Fighting Irish are coming off an 81-64 loss against Wake Forest on Saturday, despite 18 points by Nate Laszewski. This is the only meeting this season between Virginia Tech and Notre Dame. And to wrap up this DMV sports update, let's talk about the Georgetown Hoyas. So for Georgetown, it was a close game, hard fought, but ultimately the Hoyas came up short again, 68-62 to number 24 UConn on Saturday. The loss drops the Hoyas to 6-18, 1-12 in the Big East. They've lost 3 in a row and sit in last place in the conference standings. Obviously, as of the latest bracketology, Georgetown is not in the field. So here's the week ahead for G-Town. For Georgetown, the week begins on Wednesday when they head to Providence to take on the 20th ranked Providence Friars. Providence comes in at 17-6, 9-3 in the Big East, 4th place in the conference standings. As of the latest bracketology, Providence is a 6th seed. The Friars are coming off an 85-83 overtime loss at number 16 Xavier on Wednesday, despite 22 points by Noah Locke. This is the first of 2 between Georgetown and Providence. And for Georgetown, the week concludes on Saturday when they return home to host the 10th-ranked Marquette Golden Eagles. Marquette is currently 19-5, 11-2 in the Big East, 2nd place in the conference standings behind only Xavier, and as of the latest bracketology, Marquette is a 3 seed. The Golden Eagles are coming off a 60-52 win over Butler on Saturday. They've won 5 in a row and are undefeated in the month of February. This is the last of 2 between Georgetown and Marquette. The Golden Eagles lead the season series 1-0 after beating the Hoyas 95-73 in Milwaukee on January 7th. And that'll do it for this DMV Sports Update. Stay tuned for plenty of great content from Noah, Nadi, and Abdullah this week. And until next time, I'm Evan, signing off.